Hey, here it's the Grizzly Jig Show. Run into my friend Greg Minier with Vicious Fishing. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing well,
Listen, you guys have quite a line of fishing line here at Grizzly Jigs, and you guys are coming out, I understand, with a new size line for the catfishermen especially.
We are. So we've been selling the Catfish monofilament for a while. It's a high-vis line, glows in the dark under a black light, and just getting a lot of requests to go up in size a little bit. So this year we're going to come out with the 40-pound test. We currently carry it 14 to 30, and so we're going to bring the 40 out. We feel like that's going to get us where we need to be.
You also have your panfish line that is really a big seller throughout the nation here. A little bit about what you have there.
Yeah, so we got our panfish line is in a high-vis yellow, or we have it in clear, 2-pound to 10-pound test. Here at Grizzly, you can get it in a 330-yard spool or our quarter-pound spool sizes. Just a good all-around fishing line, monofilament, low memory, good abrasion resistance, price is right, always does well.
Hey, if somebody wants more information about Vicious Fishing products, where do they go?
Go to getvicious.com.
Thank you, Greg. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Hey, here at the Grizzly Jig Show, the annual big show here in Caruthersville, Missouri. Run into a good friend of mine, Chris Cleva. Is that correct?
That is correct, Ron. Thanks.
And he is the owner of Stan's Slip Bobber, which I've had the opportunity to use, and it is the best slip cork ever. Talk to me about them.
Well, I appreciate that endorsement, Ron. Yeah, so Stan's Slip Bobbers, we make a variety of different floats. What makes Stan's different than most of the bobbers on the market are the inserts we put in both top and the bottom of the bobber. That makes the line slide through real easy, and it doesn't cut a groove in the bottom of the top of the bobber stem, which prevents it from hanging up.
And because of the way that's built, all you need is one of those little pull knot.
Yeah, there's a knot right there,
right.
Bobber stop. You don't need the plastic bead that usually goes between the stop and the bobber.
Chris, somebody wants more information about these wonderful slip bobbers. Where do they go?
Stansbobbers.com.
Never got out of the Stan's Slip Bobbers booth because, I've used these, Chris, and, it's the best slip cork there is, and slip bobber, whatever you want to call it, on the market. But show our listeners and people that are watching what makes this so unique, the slip bobber you have.
Sure, it's basically the top grommet, all right, which has a small hole in it that eliminates the need for a plastic bead. So all you need is your slip knot above the bobber, and then our unique feature is our removable bottom piece. So what you do is you thread the line through the bobber, thread it through the little piece here, and then insert the piece back into it, push it, and there you have a ready-to-go Stan's Slip Bobber.
One of the features that I have found, because of the way that slips into the bottom, it doesn't crimp your line against your hook on your knots.
Correct, yeah. So this, with the size of the tube and the line, the bobber will slide up and down the line real easily without damaging your line, your knot, your hook or your jig or whatever.
Chris, somebody wants more information about this wonderful product, the Stan's Slip Bobber. Where do they go?
Stansbobbers.com.
Hey, here's the Grizzly Jig Show here in Caruthersville, Missouri, and I've found the marketing guru for Bobby Garland. That's Skylar. Skylar, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Listen, Bobby Garland has come out with a new jig head that I am really interested in. It's a weedless jig head. Talk to me about it.
So we wanted to give something for crappie anglers. We weren't happy with what was in the market as far as a bait that could go with the jig head that we could really fish in the brush. And brush fishing has always been a very popular style of fishing when it comes to crappie. And now with forward-facing sonar and all of the technological advancements that we can see, we wanted to create a jig head where we could really kind of exploit those areas better. And as everybody knows, for crappie anglers for decades, you're going to lose jig after jig after jig when you're fishing around brush. So,
go ahead.
So what we ultimately ended up doing was we created this jig head. We made it in 3 sizes. We made it in a 1/16th, a 1/30th, and a 1/50th ounce, so that guys who like to dock shoot, especially with the 130 and the 150, we did a keeper on it, so it's a real nice snug keeper with this collar right here. So when you cinch a bait up, if you want to shoot it up under docks, or if you get short strike when you're out there fishing, it's not going to pull that bait away. So the one thing that we did is we wanted to find the lightest wire that we could find. We settled on stainless steel because crappie anglers like to customize their baits, and unlike titanium that will always go back to the same setting, with this you can manipulate, you can bend, you can clip, you can move it around, and so you can fish it however you like to fish it. But what we found with this light wire for the stainless steel is that it's stout enough that it's going to be able to deflect off a brush, but it's not so stout like you find on a lot of jig heads that are advertised as weedless, that when that fish goes to bite it, it's so stout it doesn't allow it to lay down to get hook penetration.
Hey, if somebody wants more information about this wonderful jig head that you guys have got at Bobby Garland, where do they go?
Go to lurenet.com in the Bobby Garland section.
Thank you, Skylar. Never got out of the Bobby Garland booth here at Grizzly Jig because Skylar showed me something that caught my interest. It's the new itty bit Mayfly. Talk to me.
So we came out with the regular size Mayfly in a 50 count bag a few years ago, and the bait was so popular that we knew we needed to bring it into our 80 bit size. So 80 bits right now are the hottest trend in fishing. Crappie anglers with forward facing sonar and those who are not using electronics have found that downsizing that bait to an inch and a quarter profile catches fish day after day after day, but it's particularly effective when the conditions start to get tough, whether it's cold fronts, heat of summer. The itty bit's going to be the go-to. And so we came out with the itty bit Mayfly. We brought it in 17 colors, match any water conditions, and it's got all of the lifelike appendages. So it's got a ribbed abdomen, it's got proportional wings, it's got its legs, and it's got the split tail.
Awesome bait. If somebody wants more information or be able to get some, where do they go?
lurenet.com.
Thank you, Skylar. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Well, I'm still not out of the Bobby Garland booth here at Grizzly Jig because Skylar showed me something else that is pretty new on the market out of Bobby Garland and a bait that I think is going to catch a lot of fish. Skylar, what do you got?
So we got the new live roamer. It's a new size profile and a new shape for Bobby Garland. It's an 1 3/4 bait and it's symmetrical. So on all of your classic laminate baits, electric chicken, bluegrass, where if it's on a baby shad you can only fish it one way, you can flip this. So you can make that green or that pink go top or bottom, or you can rig it flat and give it a bulkier profile. So this symmetrical bait essentially is like what the stick worm is to bass fishing. This is what the live roamer is to crappie fishing.
And with the split tail, it gives it just enough gliding action too.
Very subtle action. So it's tight in line just like a real minnow, not a ton of wavering action.
How many colors does it come in?
Currently it's in 25 colors.
Skylar, if somebody wants more information or to be able to get some of these, where do they go?
lurenet.com.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great show. Hey, here at the Crappie Magnet booth here at the Grizzly Jig Show, ran into this good friend of mine, Russ Bailey, who is also, and I'm going to make this announcement now, become a member of the Legends of the Outdoors Hall of Fame class of 2025. Russ, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm humbled for sure, buddy.
Russ, you are the father Magnet-The Roo by Crappie Magnet. Talk to me about it.
I'll tell you what, I've got with Jeff Smith. I love big baits. The slab magnet was always my favorite, but I needed something a little bit smaller for when them cold fronts come in. So Jeff and I, we worked on this, and Lane as well, for a long time. It's a little bit different. We've got the double tail, and the thing that separates this from other double tails, they will not stick together. So when you're working it slow, those tails will still sit there and just quiver by themselves. You don't have to do a lot. The other thing is a slab bite, you can put right in the belly. It's got a pouch for it. It stays in there. You don't have to keep loading the bait up. It's a super bait, just a little bit smaller than the original Crappie Magnet, and it has turned out to be a dynamite bait across the country.
Hey, if somebody wants more information about this wonderful product, where do they go?
You can go to the Grizzly Jig Show or their store, or go to the Crappie Magnet website. They've got them on there, and they're selling out quick, so get on there and get yours today.
Thank you, Ross. Have a great show.
You too, buddy.